Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluent Start, and welcome back to Season 2. Today, I want to talk about something that many English learners want but often struggle to achieve: speaking naturally. Not sounding stiff, not sounding like you're translating in your head, not sounding too formal or too slow, but speaking in a way that feels smooth, relaxed, and real. Because I think a lot of learners reach a point where they can already speak English, but it still doesn't feel natural. It feels like effort, like you have to think about every sentence, every word, every grammar. And because of that, your speaking feels a bit heavy, a bit slow, a bit uncomfortable. I understand that feeling, because when you are learning a language, you often focus on being correct. You think about grammar, you think about sentence structure. You try to avoid mistakes. And that's okay in the beginning. But sometimes that habit stays too long, and it makes your speaking sound less natural. Because in real conversations, people don't think that much. They don't build perfect sentences in their head. They just speak. They pause, they repeat, they adjust while talking. And that's what makes it sound natural. I think one of the biggest reasons why speaking feels unnatural is because we are trying too hard to be perfect. We try to make every sentence correct. We try to use good English. We try to sound smart. But in reality, natural speaking is not perfect. It's simple. It's flexible. It's sometimes messy. For example, in real life, people say things like, like, you know, wait, what I'm trying to say is, these are not perfect sentences, but they are natural. They give you time to think. They make your speech flow. But many learners avoid these because they think it's not proper English. So they try to speak in full, perfect sentences all the time. And that's what makes it sound stiff. I think another reason is translation. You think in your first language, and then you translate into English. And that takes time. That creates pauses. That makes your speaking feel less smooth. Because your brain is doing two jobs at the same time. And that's tiring. That's why sometimes you know what you want to say, but it takes time to say it. Because you are translating, not speaking. So maybe one small shift is this. Instead of trying to translate everything, try to think in simple English. Not perfect English, just simple. For example, instead of trying to say a long, complicated sentence, just say something simple first, and then add more. Because natural speaking is not about complexity. It's about flow. It's about comfort. It's about being able to continue, even if it's not perfect. I also think it's important to listen more, because natural speaking comes from natural input. If you often listen to how people really speak, you start to feel the rhythm, the tone, the expressions. And slowly, you start to use them too. Not because you memorize them, but because they feel familiar. And that's how natural speaking develops. Not from rules, but from exposure. I also want to say something important. Natural speaking takes time. You don't suddenly sound natural. It grows slowly, through practice, through repetition, through real conversations. So if right now your speaking still feels a bit stiff, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means you're still in the process. And that's normal. I think instead of asking, how can I sound perfect? Maybe a better question is, how can I sound more relaxed when I speak? Because when you are relaxed, your speaking becomes more natural. You don't overthink as much. You don't stop yourself as much. You just speak. And that's what we want. Not perfect English, but real communication. Anyway, this is something many learners experience. And if you feel like your English is still a bit kaku, you're not alone. But the good news is, it can change. Slowly. Step by step. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this episode helps you feel a little more relaxed about your speaking and reminds you that you don't need to be perfect to sound natural. You just need to keep going. Thank you for listening to Fluent Start. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.